It was Friday afternoon, and it's been 2 hours since they left New York. They still had 1 more hour of driving Dee left before reaching their home. They had accompanied their only child, Lisa, to her campus. She was starting college. Nancy turned and looked at her husband, Bill, at the steering wheel of his Ford Transit. They could not take her BMW 230i convertible as they had Lisa's stuff to carry. Time flies, she thought. It was on her high school graduation day that she took a pregnancy test, and it came out positive. Bill was still at the university, studying to become an engineer. Their respective parents were cooperative as they knew each other, and they knew also that their children were in love. She stayed at her parents' place after the baby was born, and they got married after Bill finished his studies. She has been a stay-at-home mom. She has seen her husband start as a junior engineer in a local industry, and 10 years later he had his own business dealing with HVAC. The business has flourished since then. Bill has secured contracts with huge building construction companies. He has always been a hard-working guy, devoting his life to his work and his family. "The house will be empty without her," Bill said with a sad voice. "She has been closer to you than me. She was always the daddy's little girl." "She's our princess and should be treated as such," Bill observed. "But have you seen her behavior these past few months? She treated me like garbage. Whenever you were home, she was always by your side. Sometimes she would make fun of me. When you were not there, she would shut herself in her room, avoiding me." "Come on, Nancy." She's still a child. She was under lots of pressure during her senior year in high school. She wanted to score the highest marks to fulfill her dreams of going to Columbia University. At least try to understand. "I know, Bill, but have you seen her reaction whenever we were in the same room? Do you remember 2 months ago when I was sitting on the couch and she came behind me with a knife? I thought she would harm me that day. I saw hatred in her eyes." "It's your imagination, Nancy." Bill was irritated. Nancy stayed quiet. She didn't want to continue the conversation. She didn't want Bill to get angry, at least not now. She took her cell phone out and sent a text message, "We'll be there in 30 minutes. 1 minute later, her phone beeped. "Is it from Lisa?" Bill asked. "No, it's Betty." "And how is she getting along with Paul?" "Last time at our barbecue party, she was ranting about him working late night, putting on too much hours and caring for others more than her. She should know that the job of a sheriff is not that easy. She should have thought well before getting married to him." Once again, Nancy stayed quiet. She wanted Bill to stay cool till they arrived home. She just leaned against the window and prayed that they were already home. As Bill turned into his driveway, he saw a sheriff's car in front of his garage. Bill parked his van behind the car. Paul and his assistant climbed out and greeted Bill. "What's going on?" a confused Bill asked Paul. At the same time, Nancy ran and stood behind the assistant. Bill frowned. "This is the worst thing that forms part of my job, which I hate doing." The sheriff removed a manila envelope and handed it to Bill. "William Thompson, you've been served." "Paul, is this a joke?" Bill took the envelope with a trembling hand. He turned to Nancy. She looked down as she could not face her husband. "Why, Nancy?" "What have I done?" "Bill, it's better if you leave. See a lawyer and work on your divorce. There is also a restraining order. You are not allowed to come here and be within 500 feet of Nancy," Paul said. "Paul, last Sunday you were here with Betty for Lisa's going-away barbecue party. Both of you knew what would happen. You came to my house, you ate and drank the food, you even wished Lisa good luck in her studies and her future. Both of you left with a smile on your faces. This is what I call hypocrisy. Bill, try to understand." "To understand what, Paul? That you are a jerk?" Bill yelled. "And you cheating woman, you stabbed me in my back." He turned to Nancy with angry eyes. "If you didn't love or want me anymore, you should have told me. I would have divorced you amicably." "Bill, the restraining order is already in effect. I advise you to leave the premises." Paul tried to stay calm. Bill walked to his van and threw the envelope on the passenger's seat. Then he slammed the door and approached Paul. "I need my personal things. I hope you are not such a jerk to refuse me to walk into my house and take some of my personal belongings." He removed his house key and made his way to the front door. "Your key won't work." Paul removed a set of keys from his pocket and handed it to his assistant. "I see that you have taken care of everything, or is it Betty? She should have been here today with a locksmith while we were away. Am I right?" Paul didn't answer. He just nodded at his assistant. The latter walked Bill into the house and stayed by his side as he filled in 2 suitcases. "Don't you worry," Paul told Nancy. "I will have my guys doing regular patrol here. I would not leave the house alone for a few days if I were you. He is extremely angry and he can do anything through anger." "I will stay home. I will call a friend to come and spend the weekend in the house," Nancy replied. "Yes, a friend," Paul muttered. Bill came out with the suitcases and put them in the back of the van. The assistant handed Nancy the set of keys. Bill took the envelope, removed the divorce document, and started to read it. "Bill, you got your stuffs? It's time to leave," Paul ordered. "Wait. This cheating woman is asking for 50% of my business, 50% of all our savings. She wants the house and her car, plus a monthly alimony. The cruel woman is sending me to the cleaners. Bill, if you don't leave, I will have to arrest you." Paul tried to get a pair of handcuffs from his belt. "No need, Paul. I'll sign the papers right now and disappear." Bill took a pen and signed everywhere indicated by small arrow stickers. "Can you please attest the document and give me my copy?" Nancy, Paul, and his assistant stood there in shock. They never believed Bill would accept the conditions. Nancy smiled and thought how lucky she was. She got everything she wanted and was free of a husband and a daughter. Paul signed the papers as a witness and handed Bill his copy. Bill climbed into his van. "Who is he? How long have you been having an affair with him?" Bill lashed out at Nancy. "Go inside and lock the door behind you." Paul told Nancy and walked to Bill's van. The assistant accompanied her inside. "Don't do anything stupid. Think about Lisa." "I already did something stupid when I married this unfaithful spouse," Bill shouted and put the engine on. "She preferred to divorce me as she knew I would never accept an open marriage. Like you." "What? Open marriage?" asked a stunned Paul. "Don't try to hide it, Paul. Everyone knows." "What are you talking about?" Paul almost screamed. "Look, Paul, we all know that when you are working nights, your brother Tom is warming your bed. Are you setting me against my brother, you son of a bitch?" "Oh, hell! She's cheating on you. Sorry to be the messenger of bad news. See, Paul, as a sheriff, you have been trained to detect when someone is lying. Go home and ask Betty. Then you'll know." Bill reversed and left the property as he was told. Once alone, Nancy poured herself a glass of wine and stood in front of Pagnol's masterpiece, The Train Station. The painting was worth $100,000 or more. "He left it here, his loss," she thought with a wicked smile. She took her phone and pressed the speed dial. "Come on, Jason, pick up your phone," Nancy yelled at her phone and hung up. "He was supposed to come directly here after work," she said to herself. She sat down and sipped her wine. She remembered when they first met. It was a year ago. She was at the departmental store when they walked into each other. He was in charge of the shoe section. He was in his 20s with a perfect body. She melted on the spot. They exchanged phone numbers. The following day, she called him and invited him to her house. He came during his lunch break and made love with her. After he left, she felt completely exhausted and overwhelmed. She could barely stand. That night, she told Bill that she was not feeling well and went to bed early. After that day, she knew that Bill would never be a match for her lover, who was younger and full of energy. And Bill was always busy with his business. At night, he was always tired. He would always help Lisa with her homework and then go through his files till late. As soon as he climbed into bed, he fell asleep immediately. Nancy finished her wine and poured herself another glass. She hit speed dial again and got an automatic voice message. The number you are calling is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." With anger, she threw the phone on the couch, grabbed the remote, and switched on the TV. She could not focus on the screen. She decided to have a shower. It was a week ago that she had a shower with Jason, and he was intimate with her in a way she had always refused her husband. Jason had made it clear that this was something exclusive to him. The day before, she was at his apartment, and he overwhelmed her with passion. She had a spare key and could visit her lover any time. Sometimes she would go there when he was at work and would clean the whole apartment. She bought him clothes, shoes, and perfumes, and gave him an expensive watch for his birthday. She even gave him some pocket money every now and then. She sometimes let him drive her BMW. "Oh God, I need him right now. I'm burning with desire. I need him to satisfy me," Nancy said to herself. She tried to figure out the last time she'd had intimacy with Bill. She could not recall. Was it 3 months or 6 or maybe more? She did not care. She had her young lover, a real man to satisfy her. Now they would be together. They did not need to fear anybody. She was free, and he would move in with her that evening. After the shower, she came to the living room, grabbed her cell phone, and cursed again. "Where are you, Jason? Why don't you pick up the bloody phone?" She went to the kitchen and prepared herself a light dinner. "Hell! I can't get out of the house or else I would have driven to his place." Then something caught her attention on the TV. She rushed to the living room and raised the volume. She watched in horror Paul, handcuffed, being walked to a police car. Sheriff Paul Anderson shot his wife in the head and drove to his brother's workplace and shot him 5 times. "Both the wife and the brother are dead," the anchorman said. Nancy switched off the TV and sat down, shocked. "Oh, Betty, I told you to be very careful." She cried. That night she could not sleep at all. For the first time, she was feeling completely alone. She'd kicked out her husband. Her lover could not be reached. Her best friend killed. Her daughter had been avoiding her, and her parents had already left this world. The only one left was her sister, but she was living with her husband Tom in another city 300 miles away. Saturday went by and she could still not reach Jason. She was anxious and irritated at the same time. "He could at least leave a message and let me know what is going on." Nancy thought over and over again. Sunday morning, she decided to drive to Jason's apartment. As soon as she walked inside, she could feel that something was wrong. Pictures on the wall and all the electronic items were missing. His walk-in closet was empty, and no sign of any of his personal items in the bathroom. She flung herself down on the bed. "He left! He left me without a word," Nancy cried. "How could he do this to me? It was his idea to divorce Bill, and he'll move in with me and get married after the divorce is final." She left the apartment and drove to the departmental store, which was open on Sundays. There, she hoped to find Jason at work. She met one of his colleagues. She was told that Jason, half an hour after he came to work Friday morning, asked for permission to go back to his place as he had forgotten his wallet. He did not come back, and later that day he emailed a resignation letter to the boss. A broken Nancy walked to her car. "Why? Why did he do this to me?" She wept. On her way home, she stopped by a gas station, where with total astonishment she found out that both her credit and debit cards declined. She cursed when she had to pay with all the cash she had in her purse. At home, she drowned her sorrows in alcohol. Monday morning, she entered the bank and met the manager. She was taken aback when she learned that there was less than $5 in her joint account. "Mrs. Thompson, last Friday your husband came to the bank and closed your joint credit card. He also reminded us that you are divorcing him and he will no longer be responsible for the mortgage on the house and your car." "That is a mistake. My car was paid in full and the house mortgage should have already been settled," said an astounded Nancy. "The bank granted a car loan. We have all the paperwork. Mrs. Thompson and your husband took a second mortgage on the house for your daughter's university fees and expenses." "But how come there's no money in my account?" Nancy asked. "Last week your account was debited to settle your monthly mortgage installment. For the last 3 months there has been no deposits. Whatever money there was has been depleted. How about my husband's business? There are supposed to be monthly transfer from the company's account. Unfortunately, Mrs. Thompson, I can't disclose Mr. Thompson's account or his business with you. But what I can say is that if the coming mortgage payments are not done, your house and your car will be repossessed. But I don't work? I think you better discuss these matters with your lawyer. Afterward, she checked the safe deposit box she shared with her husband. Only her jewelry was there. She took all of them and placed them in her handbag. As soon as she walked out of the bank, she called Bill on his cell phone. She got an out-of-service electronic voice message. Perplexed, she called Bill at work. The phone on the other end kept on ringing. She cursed. Then she speed-dialed Lisa's number. "What do you want, cruel woman?" Lisa shouted angrily over the phone. "Is this the way you talk to your mother, Lisa?" responded an astounded Nancy. "How do you want me to talk to you, unfaithful woman?" "I just want to talk to your father," Nancy stammered. "I can't reach him on the phone. Do you know where he is or how I can reach him?" "I know, but I won't tell you. The way you dumped him, cold-hearted, makes you the worst unfaithful woman walking this earth. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't consider myself as your daughter anymore. I don't want you to call me again. Better, I'll change my number." The phone went dead. A shocked Nancy sat down in her car holding the steering wheel. She looked in the distance and her mind was elsewhere. She tried to figure out where she went wrong with her plan and why Jason left without a word. She made a call to her lawyer and succeeded in getting an appointment the same day for late afternoon. "Mrs. Thompson, after your phone call this morning, we did some searches on your husband's company," Nancy's lawyer informed her. "Last Thursday, he declared bankruptcy before being served by you. The company will likely be liquidated." "But last time you said that I could get millions," Nancy almost yelled. "Please calm down, Mrs. Thompson. 2 weeks ago, there was no sign of any financial difficulties. Everything was in your favor. Now the company's bank account is frozen." "How about the car and the house mortgage? Last week he used your house as collateral for a loan, again before being served. For the car, when you signed the ownership document, you also signed for a loan under your name." "All these can't be true." Nancy wept. "Mrs. Thompson, I have a personal question. Do you think your husband knew about being served?" "No," Nancy replied, looking very thoughtful. "He never saw it coming." She took a deep breath. "So, from what I understand, I won't get a cent from my husband's company. I have no money in the bank and my car and house will be repossessed." "I fear it. Is there any way to make him pay the mortgage at least? The company was his sole income. Without it, he's broke. Once he starts working, we can have him pay you an alimony." "We had a few investment certificates which I could not find in our safe deposit box. We can inquire when he has cashed these certificates and also make a thorough investigation on his company. And we will have to look for your husband. We don't know where he is. His legal advisor is handling everything. Please go ahead." "One thing, Mrs. Thompson, all these will incur additional fees. How will you settle the bill?" Nancy had never thought about all the expenses. Then suddenly she smiled. "I have a painting which is worth some money." "Good. Get the money and write us a check so that we can get started on the job." "No problem. I'll give you a call soon." "One last thing, Mrs. Thompson. Worst case scenario, you should prepare yourself to vacate your house. I advise you start looking for a place to stay." At home, she sat in front of Pagnol's chef d'oeuvre. "I sincerely wanted to keep you, but because of this jerk of a husband, we will have to part ways." She addressed herself to the painting. She then took out her cell phone and called her sister. "Hi, sis. I have a favor to ask." "You know I have never refused you anything, Nancy. Bill and I are getting divorced." "What? Is this a kind of joke?" "No, sis. It's complicated. Temporarily, I will need a place to stay. I was thinking if you can be kind enough to let me stay in your guest room. I will explain everything when we meet." "How about Lisa? How did she take it?" "You know she is her father's girl. I am the bad guy. Is there any way both of you can work it out? See a counselor, for example? I don't think so. I am really sorry. There is no problem with me. I don't think Tom will say no, and our daughter will be excited to have you with us for a bit. Thank you, sis. I will let you know when I'm coming. Nancy hung up. On Tuesday, Nancy went to a goldsmith to get her jewelry evaluated. To her great astonishment, she was told that all her items were gold-plated copper and cheap. She cursed Bill to have given her fake gifts. She then rushed to a fine art gallery where she met an appraiser. "I would like to know how much my Pagnoli's The Train Station is worth," asked Nancy. The man took the painting and observed every square inch diligently. The train station is Pagnol's best work. He succeeded to put all emotions in one piece of work. There are arrivals, departures, happiness and sadness glued together. He placed the painting carefully on an easel and directed a spotlight on it. He took a magnifying glass and started to inspect. After a couple of minutes, he started to laugh. "Something wrong?" asked a perplexed Nancy. "Wait, I'll show you something." The man brought his laptop, placed it on a table next to the easel, and opened a website. He hit some keys, and a picture of the train station appeared on the screen. He enlarged the bottom left-hand corner. "You see here? There are a man and a little girl standing on the platform watching a woman walking to the train with her back to them. The man looks very sad and the girl is crying." "I can see that. So what?" Nancy was a bit lost. "Now look at the same scene on your painting." The man handed Nancy the magnifying glass. Nancy took a quick look at the bottom left corner and almost fainted. "On yours, both the man and the little girl are laughing and pointing at the woman as if making fun of her." It's a fake," Nancy stammered. "Yes, I'm sorry, but a good one." "Oh my God!" Nancy pulled out a chair and sat down hopelessly. "I can offer you $200. I just want to hang it for my friends and clients to get a good laugh." Nancy closed the deal and walked out like a broken woman. Her phone rang and she recognized her sister's number. "Hi, sis," Nancy said, trying to hide her misery. "Don't call me sis, you cruel woman," an angry voice shouted at her. "What? Why?" "Tom got an email from an unknown person, also sent to all our relatives and common friends. There is a link to a website, an adult one. There are tons of videos of you with a guy and all are date stamped from a year to last week. How could you, Nancy?" I, she started to stammer. "You made love to a guy in your marital bed, and some scenes are in a 2-cent apartment room," the voice yelled. "I need to explain." "No need to explain. You are disgusting. Tom doesn't want you near his family. He said you will contaminate me and my daughter. Our doors are closed to you. Go to your lover." The phone went dead. "Oh my God, they knew since the beginning." There was a horrible look on Nancy's face. "What should I do now?" She became erratic. "Everyone knows. The whole town knows. I should leave from here, run away, run far away." 5 years later. From the perspective of Bill. Bill sat on the first row in the church. He was thinking about the phone call he received that morning. He didn't tell anyone about it. How could he on that auspicious day? He had just walked Lisa down the aisle. He looked at the couple by the altar. Lisa said, "I do," to her sweetheart, the young man she has been dating since her first year in college. His mind raced back to the day he received a call from a crying Lisa. He remembered he was in his office when his princess called. "Dad, Dad, please come home," cried Lisa. "What's going on, sweetie? Why are you crying?" asked a stunned Bill. "Please, Dad, come now. I'm waiting on the street in front of our home." "In front of the house?" "What's wrong? I'll call your mom." "No, don't call her. Just come. Please, Dad," Lisa pleaded. "I'm on my way, sweetie." While driving to his place, Bill was getting anxious. All sorts of thoughts went through his mind. Why was his daughter not at school? Why was she outside the house and not inside? Why didn't she want him to alert Nancy? Was she injured? Suddenly, he applied the brakes with a roaring sound of the tires. He was going to run a red light. "Keep calm," he told himself. He knew Lisa was working on a project till late the day before. He even helped her and gave her some ideas. Together, they put everything on a PowerPoint file and saved it on a USB flash drive. Lisa was waiting 1 block down the street. Bill stopped the car and she hopped inside. "Please don't go to the house, Dad." "Okay, Lisa, tell me, what's going on?" Bill cut the engine off. "I forgot my USB drive this morning while I was rushing to school. I got special permission during lunchtime to come home to pick it up. I found an old Honda in our driveway. I went inside the house and heard strange sounds coming from your room. I quietly walked up the stairs and peeped inside your room. The door was not fully closed." Lisa started crying. "Okay, sweetheart, inhale," Bill said in a soothing voice. He stroked her back. "Take your time. I saw a man with... They were both naked. She's cheating on you, on us." Lisa sobbed. Bill sat there in shock. He realized that his 17-year-old daughter knew what cheating was. "Are you sure of what you've seen?" He turned to face her. "I recorded it on my phone." She took out her cell phone and played it for her father. Bill's world stopped suddenly when he heard Nancy moaning. "Get her out of the house, Dad. I don't want to see her anymore. She's not my mom. My mother would never do such things." "I will have to think about it." "What do you need to think about? Just kick her out." "It's not that easy, sweetie. There are legal procedures to follow." "Tell me, Dad, do you still want to stay with her? Do you still want to sleep with her?" "I don't condone cheating, but we will need to know why she did it, if it's a one-time affair, or has she been doing it a long time, or if she'll continue with it." "Here he is." Lisa pointed to the Honda leaving the driveway, turning away from them. "Let's follow the guy." Bill turned on the engine. They followed the Honda to the store. They found the guy putting his uniform jacket on while leaving his car in the parking lot and walking towards the employee's entrance. "He works here. He's young," Bill said. "Young or not, I don't care," Lisa replied while taking some pictures of the guy in his car. "We already know one thing. So, sweetie, I will drop you at school. I'll drive home, pick up your flash drive and bring it to you. I'll tell your mom." "She's not my mom," Lisa shouted at her father. "I'll tell Nancy that you called me and asked to bring it to you. I don't want you to face her alone, not now or any time. Do you understand?" "I understand, but why?" "For the simple reason that I don't want her to know that we know. I don't want you through your anger to spill the beans." "What are you going to do? I want to know everything that you are doing. I want you to keep me in the loop. Promise?" "I'm going to wire our home. And yes, Princess, I promise to keep you in the loop." "I love you, Dad." Lisa hugged Bill. "Love you too. Now take me to school and bring the USB quickly as my class will start soon." Bill parked in his driveway and walked into the house. "Honey, I'm home." Nancy rushed out of the bedroom with shock on her face. "Oh, Bill, it's you." "Who did you want it to be?" He looked at Nancy straight in the eyes. "I didn't expect you at this hour." Lisa called. She forgot her flash drive. "I need to bring it to her." He approached Nancy and could smell intimacy on her. "Do we have time for a quick love?" "Quickie?" "It's that I'm a bit tired from cleaning the house and I'm very sweaty. You won't like it. And you need to bring Lisa her USB." "You're right." At work, Bill surfed the internet for the best video and audio surveillance device and cell phone spy software. Later, he drove to an electronics shop and bought whatever he needed. One main decision he made, he would never touch his wife from that day forward. As promised, he would share everything with Lisa. During the next 3 months, he learned a lot. He knew everything about Nancy's lover, Jason White. Jason came to his place almost every day, either in the morning when he was on the second shift or during his lunchtime. On weekends, when Nancy was supposed to go shopping, she would drop by his apartment if he was not working. She also had a spare key. Bill came to know that she was buying lots of things for Jason. He watched as Jason took her anal cherry. He also listened to a conversation between Nancy and her best friend Betty, in which they shared all their secrets. It was how he was aware that Betty was having an affair with her brother-in-law. One Saturday, Bill searched in Nancy's handbag and found the key, hidden at the bottom. He quickly drove to the mall and had a duplicate key cut. The following week, he visited Jason's apartment. It was an old building in a notorious part of the town. The place was so cheap that there was no security camera and the main entrance of the building was not even locked. In the apartment, he placed some tiny hidden spy cams run by small, long-life lithium button cells. He also searched everywhere and found all the expensive things Nancy had bought. Bill started to work on a plan to get out of this relationship with maximum damage to both Nancy and her lover. He had a goldsmith make copies of all Nancy's jewelry, which would be gold-plated copper. Then he had a fake Pagnol, the train station, painted by a pro with special instructions. He met a childhood friend, Steve, who was a corporate lawyer. When he explained his plan, the lawyer booked a meeting a couple of days later. On that day, he met Steve and his cousin, Linda, who was an auditor, an expert in her field. He was honest and direct with them. He wanted to legally sink his company and then control it from a distance. A couple of years later, he would have Lisa buy back the company. He would meet with Linda often, either at her office or have lunch together. She was a widow. Her husband died in a car accident. She had a 10-year-old son and had not been dating since the death of her husband. Slowly, a friendship was born between the two. One day, he invited her for dinner and a movie afterwards. She accepted. That same evening, Lisa went to an overnight at her friend's place, and Bill pretended to be working late. Bill pulled into Linda's driveway. "Thank you for accepting the invitation," he told Linda. "It's my first date since my late husband passed away." "I understand. Hoped you enjoyed it." "I did. Can we do it again sometime when you are free? We have to work together and you are still married." She bent and kissed Bill on the cheek. "Let's do one thing at a time." She opened the door and walked to her house. Bill encouraged Nancy to change her car. She was a bit reluctant because she liked her Lexus. When he told her that at the wheel of a BMW convertible she would appear younger, she readily accepted. The Lexus was fully paid, so Bill sold it and cashed the money. He took out a car loan for the BMW and put everything under Nancy's name. When she signed the document, she thought it was for the ownership certificate. In between the documents, she signed other papers that would come back to bite her later on. A couple of weeks later, Bill noticed that when Nancy went to the bathroom after having intimacy, Jason would leave the bedroom not wearing anything and go to Lisa's room. He brought it to Lisa's attention, and she was extremely furious. They decided to put a camera in her room. What they discovered was alarming. Jason would open a drawer, take Lisa's undergarments, and behave inappropriately with them. The same afternoon, while Nancy was sitting on the couch, Lisa came behind her with a knife. Had Bill not intervened at that moment, Lisa would have hurt or even killed Nancy. Later in the evening, Lisa told her father that she would not have been imprisoned had she killed Nancy because she was still a minor. Bill was not surprised when he heard Jason convincing Nancy to divorce him and send him to the cleaners. But one thing that the lovers didn't know was that he was already one step ahead. He knew that Nancy would often let Jason drive the BMW and would even allow him to be intimate with her in the back seat. He knew when Nancy went to see a divorce lawyer, suggested by Paul, and he was also aware that the lawyer would do some research on his company and all his assets. He waited a couple of days and took out a second mortgage on his house to pay for Lisa's full studies. On the following day, he declared bankruptcy. He knew the day he would be served, Betty would change the locks of his house when they would be in New York. On the weekend before Lisa's departure during the barbecue party, both father and daughter played their role. Paul and Betty were as friendly as ever. Paul even helped to grill some meat. No one would imagine that they were backstabbers. On that Friday morning, while Nancy was in the bathroom, Bill took her cell phone and sent a text message to Jason. At 8, I will drive to your apartment and I want you to love me before I accompanied them for the last time. Get permission from work and hurry home to what you own. I'll tell them I need to buy a few things. Don't call or text me. I'll leave my cell phone at home in case they call me to ask where I am. See you soon, my future husband. Bill deleted the message after sending it and placed the phone back in Nancy's handbag. What Jason didn't know was that as soon as he entered his apartment, 3 men would jump on him and beat him up. With a knife to his throat, they would make him send an email of resignation to his manager. Then another email to the building owner that he was leaving at the end of the month. They would then drug him, clean his apartment, remove the spy cams, and take everything that could be carried away, making it look as if he left for good. They would wrap his body in carpet, place him in a van outside, and drive away. 1 man would drive his car. Jason would never be seen again. Neither Lisa nor Linda would know what Bill did to Jason. It would be his secret, which he would take to his tomb. Friday afternoon, after being served, Bill got a room in a motel. He laughed when he watched the evening news. Before dinner, one of the men who was at Jason's apartment came to meet him. He gave Bill all the cameras and received the final payment. No words were exchanged. He didn't even tell Bill where Jason's body was buried. Saturday morning, Bill left the motel, bought a new cell phone, and dumped his old one. He called Lisa and gave her his new number. He drove to Linda's house. There he spent all his time mounting and editing the video recordings. He blurred Jason's face as he didn't want the police to make a link between the 2 lovers if ever Jason was declared missing. He stayed in the guest room and at the same time befriended Linda's son. Bill and Linda started the final phase of their scheme, where an old couple from Seattle would buy the company. The couple was in fact Linda's uncle and aunt. No employee would be fired. Monday, he received a call from Lisa, informing him that Nancy was looking for him. They both laughed. Later, he uploaded all the videos on a graphic website. From a fake email address, he sent the link to all the people they knew, including Nancy's brother-in-law. He continued to stay at Linda's for the next 3 months till his divorce case was heard. They continued to date, but without any sexual contact. Linda made it clear that Bill would touch her only when he would be single and not before. Bill agreed as he wanted to keep his vows till the end of his marriage. One advantage of staying at Linda's was that if there were any investigation, Bill would say that he was penniless and could not afford to pay rent, and that his friend Linda was kind enough to allow him to occupy her guest room till he was back on his feet again. On the day of the hearing, Nancy was absent in court. Since the house and Nancy's car had already been repossessed and Bill was broke and unemployed, the judge granted the divorce without alimony and splitting of assets. Nancy's lawyer did not contest. Later in the hallway, they bumped into each other. "You are a very clever man, Mr. Thompson," the lawyer said. "Am I?" Bill frowned and walked away. Back to the present. "Dad, Earth calling." "Yes, sweetie, what were you saying?" "It's the bride-father dance. Everyone's eyes are on us, and you are not moving at all." "Sorry, princess. My mind was elsewhere." Bill took his daughter's hand, turned her around, and they both started to move to the rhythm of the music. "Now, I need to dance with your mom," Bill told Lisa when the song ended. "And I promised my little brother that he would be the 3rd on the list," Lisa smiled. Bill walked to Linda and invited her to the floor. Later, Bill went to the bar and ordered a whiskey. He sat down and his mind raced to that phone call he received at home, in his bedroom. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson. I am Dr. Henry D'Souza from Dallas, Texas. It concerns your wife." "What is wrong with my wife?" Bill asked, confused. "She is in the next room right now." "I mean Nancy Thompson." Bill hadn't heard that name in 5 years. He flung himself onto the bed. "I'm listening, doctor." "I'm a psychologist and I'm treating my patient Nancy Thompson in her final days." "Her final days?" "Yes, Mr. Thompson." "Do you have a few minutes to allow me to explain the situation briefly?" "Yes, carry on," said a bewildered Bill. "Your wife, I mean, your ex-wife has told me her life from the time she was a little girl to the time we met. She said you were the only man she knew till she met a certain Jason, a huge mistake she made, which she realized afterward. She mentioned the divorce she planned and the aftermath. She is certain that you knew about the affair and set her up. She accepts her fate and the loss of her husband and daughter, as she was the one who wronged you. The day she left town, she had only $200 in her pocket. She wanted to go as far away as possible because of what she did, and also because of the video recordings of her sexual frolics. She took the first bus departing and landed in Texas. She got a job as waitress in a dirty second-rate bar along Interstate 20, visited mainly by truck drivers. The owner rented her a room on the first floor at a low fee, but in return, he took advantage of her whenever he wanted. A year later, she was pregnant, and as she did not have any health insurance coverage, she went to see a cheap charlatan for an abortion. The guy butchered her. After another year, the owner started pimping her out to the truckers. Some used protection and some didn't. When she was brought to the hospital, she had acute STDs and was already infected with AIDS. She had lost a lot of weight, and she knows that she is dying. Her last wish is to see you before she dies. Doctor, I'm really sorry to hear that. My daughter is getting married today. I will give you a call next week. Don't take too much time, Mr. Thompson. I'll give you my direct line number. Hey, honey, don't drink too much. You'll have to drive us home later. Linda hugged her husband and kissed him tenderly. You are the best thing that ever happened to me, darling. Bill pushed his glass away. I will never put you and our son in danger. Let's go dancing. I want to feel you. A couple of days later, from his office, Bill called Dr. D'Souza and informed him that due to a heavy workload, he would not be able to make the trip south. The doctor recommended that Bill at least talk to Nancy over the phone. He would transfer the call to the ward where she was. There was a cordless phone there. A nurse could bring it to Nancy's bed. Bill, is that you? Bill could hear a faint voice. Yes, Nancy, it's me. Oh, Bill. Nancy started to cry. I'm sorry, Bill. Really sorry for what I did to you and our family. Now I'm paying for it. I've forgiven you, Nancy. I've moved on with my life, and I'm happy. Bill took a deep breath. I need to thank you. After the divorce, I married the most wonderful woman and we have a son. Lisa calls her mom and both get along very well. By the way, she got married last Saturday. It was a beautiful wedding ceremony. Her mom took care of everything. Lisa's kids will no doubt call her grandma. We are both waiting for that moment. Bill could hear Nancy crying. He could also hear a commotion in Nancy's ward. He waited and finally could hear a panicked voice. Mr. Thompson, I'm Nurse Angelica. I'm sorry, I will have to hang up. And the phone went dead. Bill looked at the family picture on his desk. He smiled. Laughs best who laughs last, he told himself. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.